This is Theodorus Rex, and I'd like to talk a little bit about Miles Davis' Kind of Blue. This is an album that was recorded over the span of 2 days in 1959, and has, since its release, sold a minimum of 5,000 copies every year thereafter, even up until today. It's gone quadruple platinum, a huge hit for Columbia and Miles Davis, one of the albums he's most known for, the This and Bitches Brew, but this is arguably the #1 spot. Miles came into the studio with some sketches of songs, and he was going for a modal theme, staying in a particular key or two keys throughout an entire song. Very simple, minimalistic, you might say. In his bag of tricks, he also brought John Coltrane, Wynton Kelly, Bill Evans, Cannonball Adderley, and Jimmy Cobb on the drums. Bill Evans is was the sole white guy of the session. A great piano player, very nuanced, and has a great technique for being soft on the keys, and just has a real brings a real maturity and emotion to the recording session. Coltrane and Cannonball are always going to be the antithesis of Miles. A good dichotomy between Miles's slower, he uses notes as if they were expensive. Coltrane and Cannonball are all over the place and just kind of selling it loud. They like to hand you their chops in a song, you know, give you their full resume. The album is a masterpiece, and it's considered by even rock standards. Rock and roll people are aware of it, just like they're aware of Coltrane's A Love Supreme. It has grown outside of its jazz genre. I've got Miles there on the wall, as you can see. He's a huge influence on me. I've got most of his studio albums at one time or another, digested them all, and Kind of Blue is one that's agreeable to most any ear, and you know, most people can recognize a tune or two off of it, especially if they're a musician. I think after so much bebop, all that bebop that was going on with Charlie Parker, etc., I think Miles wanted to simplify things and just really challenged himself to see what he could melodically do and how innovative he could be outside of all those chord changes. Another point of interest is this Miles Davis's best band that he ever put together? Of course not. The Second Great Quintet is probably one of my favorite outfits. Here you had, you know, Tony Williams, Ron Carter, Herbie Hancock, Wayne Shorter. I mean, this group put out a few albums and were arguably even better than Kind of. How do you even say what's better? But Miles had a lot of great albums, and it probably depends on your mood, which one's the best and which one is. But you know, Kind of Blue is just the most accessible. It's the most friendly to the ear. Another interesting fact: Bill Evans said that Miles Davis conceived of these songs only hours before the sessions. The songs that really stand out for me on the album are So What, of course. It's been covered a million times by all these different groups. It's just a great, catchy tune, and it's a great album opener to introduce everyone to what the album is going to be about. Freddie Freeloader is another nice, you know, just a nice song in general. Blue and Green is a very intimate portrait of what Miles is about and what his strengths are as a musical artist. Coltrane also takes a very nice solo on this number, a memorable solo. And it's a tune that anybody that's familiar with Kind of Blue is familiar with, and it's probably one of the standout Davis's tracks over the course of his entire life. All blues and flamenco sketches, which flamenco sketches for me is kind of forgettable. Anyway, I'll just sign off saying, you know, I've read a lot of books about Miles Davis. I've been into his career quite a bit, and I've listened to all his studio albums. I've owned all of them at one point in time. You know, he could be heavy-handed with his women sometimes. You know how they can get. But no, really. I mean, was he the perfect human being? No, he definitely had his flaws. You know, there was some drug use. There was some, you know, even some overt, almost racism at times. But of course, the roles were reversed on him. Many times he was brutalized by police, or, you know, stopped in his Ferrari. So, I mean, he had an axe to grind, and he let you know it. He was a pretty tough guy. I mean, a lot of musicians played, you know, scared of Miles instead of playing like themselves. Dave Holland has said in an interview. Anyway, this is Theodorus Rex. Hope you enjoyed the review. Over and out.